Good day, everyone. It's Andy here, and today, doing something a bit different. Going to do the tutorial for Pathfinder Quest, the new board game which is going to get released in July, I think, in 2026. And so it's the first time I've done the run through of a game before. We're going to go through the tutorial, and we're just going to see what happens. The first thing you do in creating a character, and there has to be 4 characters in the game. So I'm going to be playing 4 characters, so we'll see how that goes. There is an option to create your own character, or at the back of the book, there are iconic characters. I'm going to be using 3 of them. I'm going to be using Valeros, Karakai, I think, and Hask. So Hask, the Dwarf Hunter, Karakai, the Tengi Oracle, and Valeros, the human fighter. But let's just quickly go through how to we'll do one character together. Choose your ancestry and background. How do we do that? So here's the ancestry cards. Dwarfs, orcs, leshy, gnomes, goblins, halflings, elves, and Tengu. I'm going to be making a human wizard. So my background's going to be human. Now, one of these humans has disappeared because that's Valeros the fighter. So I'm going to pick from one of these that doesn't have a name. These are pre-generated ones, which you could still use for your human. But I'm going to pick one that's nameless. And the options are, one on the left, once per adventure you can attempt a skill roll using a number of dice equal to your level. And it looks like he's a herbalist, plus 2 dice to your nature rolls. And the other option, once per adventure, when you use aid, add 2 successes. So aid is when it's like helping a character, and you can use an action to aid them, and then that other character can, in this case, add 2 extra successes. And it looks like add 2 dice to your medicine rolls. I'm hoping my oracle can be more my medic, so I'm going to go with the once per adventure you can attempt a skill roll using a number of dice equal to your level. Now, when I'm level 1, that's probably not very useful, but I'm guessing that's going to be much more useful as you level up. So I'm going to take that one. Now, the next thing is the class. Down here it says grab a class. So here, the wizard, cleric, fighter, oracle, ranger, rogue. And you'll notice that there's 4 wizards cards. Level 1, you flip that, level 2, and there'll be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We just want to grab the level 1 card. In this game, you will level 8 times. You'll do about 8 adventures, and each time after an adventure, you'll level up, which is really nice. So an adventure is basically a game session. So you could probably do 2 adventures in a night, but generally speaking, a couple of hours will be an adventure, and you'll level up at the end of the night. So this is the wizard. Just a couple of things about the cards here. So I'm just going a bit closer, maybe even a bit closer. That'll do. All right, 4 hit points. That is that is not a lot of hit points. Defense 2, so that's what someone has to roll, how many successes they need to roll in order to hit you. Now, in this game, you get 3 actions each turn. So, for example, moving is an action, and attacking is an action. So the wizard can obviously do weapons and spell attacks. You notice here that the first weapon attack, they use 1 dice. Second, they use 1 dice. Third, they use 1 dice. Now, a fighter would probably have 3 dice on their first attack, 2 on their second, and 1 on their third. In fact, let's grab the fighter card quickly and just show you that that is exactly what happens. The fighter will get 3 dice on their first attack and then it sort of diminishes as they do 3 attacks. So the wizard isn't going to be your best attacker, but you notice here they've got spells. And so their spells start very strong. The first one you cast each turn, and that'll get weaker. They have this extra thing once per turn. This is the action symbol. They can do an action, spend an action, to deal a damage to an enemy in range 1. So that's just basically no rolls, instantly, bang, a damage. Really good for just finishing off a creature. And they've also got this once per turn overcharge. When you roll a spell attack, you can spend stars to deal a damage to the enemy in the target space. So what that means is, let's have a look at the dice. Right. The monster is something that happens on enemy turns. This is a success, 2 successes, 3 successes. And this is a star. So if you roll that star, this character has something that happens when you roll stars, which is good. Over on the left of the characters, you can see here, this is like an hourglass. So that's not a combat thing. This is like when you're just exploring the world and running around town and doing things like that. So they can, and each adventure will have a certain amount of time. Our first tutorial adventure, I believe, has 15 slots of time. So that's just, while I'm talking about it, I'll just bring it out. I'll show you here. This is the time marker. Right, and you will, how do I do this? There. Okay, whoop, 15 wrong way. So 1, 2, and you'll just move this around as much as you need for however much time you have. So these hourglasses here, you can spend some time, and if one character did it, probably all characters would want to do it. Remove 2 damage, and this is also where you can aid someone in doing a challenge, doing a test of some sort, whatever that might be. The wizard has 3 strong skills: Arcana, Diplomacy, and Perception. And as we picked a human card here, so he's also got extra 2 dice on nature rolls. All other skills, so things like stealth and strength and acrobatics, things like that, will only use 1 dice. So not very good on all those other skills, but good on these 3. So that is essentially the character. So that is my human, and I've got a little figure here, which came with the box. I'm going to be using these figures for the characters, but the enemies I'm going to be using standees because I didn't get the super deluxe box. I just got the standard deluxe box, which has all the characters, your heroes, models, and the big bosses, but not everything else. Okay, so when you're creating a character, you go down here and you look at the wizard, which is right down the bottom, and the wizard is going to get some class cards. I'll just move this up a bit. There we go. I'll take cards 1 and 2. So we have a wizard deck, and each class has a deck. So these are wizard cards. And I'm going to take cards 1 and 2, and then take 2 of 3A, 3B, 3C, and 3D. So I'm going to take 1 and 2, and then 2 of these 4 cards. So let's see what 1 gives me. 1 gives an arcane bond. You can use a spell that you've already used. Okay, that might come in handy. And then telekinetic projectile. So this is a spell. Roll a spell attack against an enemy in range 1 and deal damage shown for your level, which is down here. I'll be dealing 1 damage. You don't deal a lot of damage in this game. It's usually just 1, 2. But if you hit, you can spend any number of stars that you roll to deal an extra damage. Okay, great. Now, the big choice is picking one of these. I like the whole AoE type of thing. I'm going to take these two spells. So I've got some nice AoE. I used to love playing mages in World of Warcraft with AoE stuff. So I'm going to turn my wizard into a bit of a mage. So there you can see I've got the wizard character sheet, the 3 spells. I've got my little ancestry card, which reminds me of some more abilities. And then down here, it also says take card 7. So I need to find an item card. So here's the item deck. And you can see they're all numbered. And there's a couple of numbers missing because I've set up the pre-made characters already. But here's item 7, right? So I'm assuming it's a wand or a staff or something. Yes, it's a staff. Okay, so one action, roll a weapon attack against an enemy in your space, you do 1 damage. So essentially what's going to happen there, my weapon attacks, if you can remember, is 1 dice. So I could use an action, roll the dice. It's a success. Well, actually, it might be a success. It depends on the enemy's defense. But if the enemy only had 1 defense, it would hit. If the enemy had 2 defense, like I've got, that actually wouldn't have hit. We'll talk more about combat later. Next thing we'll do is to set up the scenario, because what it actually says in the book here is once you've created your 4 characters, turn to page 2 of the adventure book and begin your first adventure, which will basically teach you the rules. Now, this adventure book says do not read till instructed by the rulebook. Well, we've done that, so let's have a read. Falcon's Hollow is easy to miss. Most maps don't even include this small lumber town located in the northern wilderness in Andoran. Those who have heard of it likely know it for its higher quality lumber and long history of problems with kobolds. But such dangers are in the past. Today the town is a frequent stopping point for merchants and travellers making their way from the nation of Asgard to the north and Andoran's capital of Almas, far away to the south. You've been in town for a few days now, getting some well-earned rest after recent adventures. But with the coin in your pocket starting to feel light, you will likely need to head out on another daring quest soon. It's early evening as the 4 of you sit in the tap room of Jackay's Napes, the town's only affordable inn, discussing your favourite or future adventures, when a sudden commotion outside draws your attention. Perhaps adventure has been found, or perhaps adventure has found you. Okay, so setting up an encounter. There will be a little bit of an introduction, and it will tell you how to set up the map. So I will just read this little bit here for us. Leaving your mule behind, you rush out of the tavern, only to see several horses panicking while tied to their hitch post. One has broken free, trampled a villager, and it is now prancing nervously between stalls. Clearly something has spooked these horses. Perhaps you can calm the horses, help the people, and get to the bottom of this mystery. And this is the setup here. So let's see if we can replicate that. So these are called challenge tokens. The players start here, and the clock, which I actually need to check, that clock starts on things about challenges here. So you are allowed to read ahead. So here's wild horses. So this is position A, which is over here. Okay. Several horses tied to a horizontal hitching post are bucking wildly, threatening to rip the post out of its frame and possibly send the awning above crashing down. If you grab hold of the reins, you might be able to restrain the horses and prevent such a calamity. So a character can roll athletics or nature to try to restrain the horses and prevent them from pulling too hard on that post. So this is how challenges work. It's athletics or nature, that's what we're testing. And if you can actually remember, my wizard had +2 dice for nature, so that's looking good. And then you count the successes. So my wizard would roll 3 dice, and if it rolled 2 or more successes, would read entry 7 in the challenge book. All right. If you only rolled 1 success, you'd go to entry 24, or 0 successes, entry 10. So you're allowed to read what these challenges are before you decide what happens. So that's one. The next one, running scared, a single frightened horse bolts between 2 shops and carts, knocking over goods and scattering the panicked townsfolk. If you could jump atop the horse, you might be able to get it under control. So a character can roll acrobatics to try to deftly mount the horse and get it to calm down. So if I've got a character of acrobatics, that would be a good one for them. And then we do need to flip the page. And then, so there you go, acrobatics. Now in position C, down the bottom here, down here, we have an injured villager. One of the villagers has taken a violent kick from the panicked horse and is sprawled out on the ground, wheezing and bleeding. You could try to attend to their wounds. Okay, so this is medicine. Okay, well, I didn't take that with the wizard, did I? But maybe my oracle's got medicine. And it tells you if you got 2 or more results, read entry 11, or if you got less than 2, read entry 34. And finally, in position D, something has clearly frightened the horses, but there is no apparent cause for this commotion. Perhaps if you look around, you might be able to figure out what is happening or why this is happening. So a character can roll perception to try to assess the situation at position D. Right. Okay, so let's do this. This is the first time I'm running through the game, so I think we'll just take it easy and go. I'll just come out a little bit here. Right, so just going to see what the strengths of my other characters are. Well, I know my wizard had nature, and my wizard is going to try to calm these wild horses down. Okay, so we need athletics or nature, and my wizard, as you know, doesn't have nature, so it's another skill, so it's 1, but can add 2 to nature rolls because he's a human herbalist. All right, so he's going to have 3 dice. I'm going to roll these right in front of us. Okay, 7. Well and truly passed that test. So because I rolled a 7, I'm going to read entry 7 in the challenge book. All right, we'll just flip that over. All right, speaking softly, you approach the horses and grab their reins. Your soothing presence seems to calm their agitated spirits. Moments later, some townsfolk approach and take the reins in hand, leading skittish horses off to a nearby stable. Remove the challenge token. Right. And that is the wizard's turn done. Let's look at another person's turn. So what's B? That was 2 horses running around between these 2 stalls here. So B needed acrobatics. Right. Who's got acrobatics? My ranger has acrobatics. So the ranger, and that's my dwarf here, with the bow, is going to go to B. And it's going to try to jump on top of that horse and calm him down. So he gets 3 dice to see if he succeeds. 1, 2, 3. Now the star doesn't mean anything. And at the moment, we're not rolling for monsters, so the skull wouldn't mean anything either. So he's got 4 successes there, hasn't he? So Here we go. So 3 or more, entry 9. In one deft moment, you leap upon the horse's powerful muscled back and grasp its reins firmly, but calmly taking control. A stranger garbed in a hooded cloak of a forest ranger approaches, their face awash in admiration. He would have bucked most folks off by now, the stranger says with a warm smile. I am Nishio Yadru, and I thank you for your kind treatment and my beloved mount. Okay, so record, help Nishio Yadru and remove the challenge token. So this is where we have a campaign sheet, which I'm going to quickly go and grab that and a pencil, and I'll be right back. The game comes with a character sheet, which looks like this. It was character records, and here you write down what cards and items each character gets. You can go to the website, I think, and print these up. This is not the actual original, but you get one in the box, and so you can easily just photocopy it or print one up if you find it online. Interesting thing here, there's achievements down here, and if you get 12 or more, you read an entry in the challenge book, and I'm guessing something good's going to happen, or maybe not. Who knows? On the back here, introduction scenario, and then these are all the scenarios. And you're going to do 8, but you notice here 1A and 1B, you'll get a choice of whether you do this scenario or that scenario. So you have a little bit of choice of what you want to do, but I think you only will do 8. Now, we did introduction, and we helped, what's his name? Better write this down, right? We helped Nishio Yadril. Okay. Now, I'm presuming that sometime later in the game, that might become really important. All right, here's our board back. Okay, now, so those two characters, oh, hang on, he went there. Oh, and he explored that location. So this is where I think, this is all on a turn. So I think we're using one time to do these explorations now. It's kind of like a round. So, let's see what C is. C, exploration point C, was the injured villager. Now, I think my oracle is going to go there. So the oracle is the Tengu. Over he goes. And he needs to roll, or she, I don't know, it's a pre-made character, I'm not sure the gender. 2 or more medicine. Okay. Because there's an injured villager here. So, where are you, Oracle? Doesn't have medicine. I just have to roll 1 dice, and I need to roll, hopefully roll 2 or more successes. All right, Oracle, let's see if you're going to be a good character for me. Oh, okay. That doesn't help, does it? So I didn't roll. So I'm going to read entry 34. The villager is too panicked to accept aid from a stranger. You're unable to help with their wound, but perhaps you could try again. So the last character, this is my fighter, will go and explore D over there. And he is just sussing out that something's happening over there. And he has to do a perception check. Now, the fighter, actually, that was really good. Our fighter has perception. So he will get 3 dice on this roll. Right. And he's got a 3. So rolling 3 or more dice. Needed the 3 to read the top. So for example here, I'm presuming the more you roll, the better. So entry number 3. It's obvious to you that the horses are attempting to flee to the east. The wind blowing in from the west is likely carrying a scent that's making the animals afraid. As you peer into the darkness of the west, you can just barely make out several shambling shapes slowly approaching the town square. Okay, record, saw the undead, and remove the challenge token. All right. Saw the undead. It's all too predictable, isn't it? Saw the undead. Okay. So what I'm thinking is they've all had a turn. I've just got to decide whether I use up a time to try to do this, or the other option is ending the encounter. So you can see here, once the group agrees that they have spent enough time on this encounter, proceed to encounter 2. If challenge token A is still present, read entry 10 the first. So challenge, no, so I can proceed to the, or I can, and let's do it. Let's just move this to number 2. So they're all going to have a shot at it if they need to. He's going to have a shot. And you didn't see that, but that was a skull. Dwarf's going to move there. He's going to have a shot at this action. 1. Oh. Yeah, so he's got a 1. So maybe I should have thought this through and actually done a character that had medicine. Oh, that's 34. So less than 2. So I have to roll 2 or you fail. Okay, in comes the wizard. So wizard has a shot. Okay, the wizard did it. Great. We're healing this person. Read entry 11. You tie a spare rag around the villager's wound and have them apply pressure to stop the bleeding. They thank you profoundly as you supply them with a poultice and give them advice for keeping the wound clean as it heals. Record mended wounds and remove the challenge token. So that challenge token goes. And over here we write, my pencil's still falling asleep, mended wounds. Now we go to the next encounter. So what I've done there, I've just followed the instructions here. Once the group agrees that they will have spent enough time, you can go to encounter 2. That's what I'm doing. Let's do it. What at first might have been mistaken for rustling leaves blown by the faint wind quickly grows into an approaching din of clattering bones. Townsfolk flee in panic as the source of the sound. A group of shambling skeletons emerges from the darkness and marches into the square. Drawn by light, noise, and living flesh, these undead abominations march towards you, dragging rusty blades and crooked bows in their bony hands. So set up. Remove any remaining challenge tokens from the previous encounter, so that villager would have somehow got away injured. Leave the characters in the space they occupied at the end of their previous encounter. Good, done that. Okay, so now I just read the combat encounter. And what it's saying is place 2 skeleton guards. Now, what I've got here is you see 2 guards and 2 skeletons there. And you'll notice that one is A and one is B. So we know which one's which. All right. If you recorded saw the undead, yes. During the previous encounter, you managed to cry out a word of warning, giving everyone a chance to prepare. You can place each character in any space, including in a space with the undead. Okay. you might want to read about how combat works first. Okay, cool. Okay, so we have encounter. There's a combat encounter here and a combat encounter down lower there. And I'm not really sure what they do at the moment, but that's something that we could do in combat. And the skeletons, okay, so 2 archers go here. Now, these are normally standees that would stand up, but I thought I'd lay them down flat because it would make it easy to see. So there's 2 archers, and over here are the 2 guards. Now, I think they're coming across the board this way. So somehow these people got over here. These are skeletons. I called them people, skeletons. And I can leave these my characters here, or I can put them even in the spaces with the enemy. So, So my fighter is already with the archers. So let's do that. Let's, who's my next tough guy? I've got an archer and a wizard. Ooh. They can stay over here. And maybe my oracle. Wrong one. Which one's my oracle? This one, the Tengu. Maybe we'll do this. So initiative. Let's talk about initiative. What we need, because these are all initiative cards. And I need enemies A, C, and E, and enemies B, D, and F. So this is A. I haven't got the greatest eyes. That's B. So red is A, green is B. So I need A. That's representing the red enemies, and B is representing green enemies. I have a fighter, a ranger, oracle, and a wizard. I don't need a rogue or a cleric. And these get shuffled up. And I'm going to move the board down a little bit. I'm hoping that you can see my genuine, honest shuffle. That will shuffle all the enemies to first. So I'm going to go left to right in that order. All right. Okay, well that's good. The fighter going first. Then enemies B, D, and F, but we only had B. Then the ranger. Then the wizard. Sorry, you probably can't see these, but let's just go. There we go. And then enemies there. Right. So, just trust me on that. I'll just move this board back in. Okay. So in combat, you get 3 actions. The fighter doesn't really need to move, so I'm thinking the fighter is probably going to attack 3 times. Let's look at the skeleton enemy cards. So you get a whole lot of enemy cards, and they basically look like this. All right, and they all have different names. I won't show you them all, but here's the archers. They've got 6 hit points. Weapon defense is 2, which means you have to roll 2 successes to hit him. If you're rolling a spell, 2 successes to hit with a spell. This is their attack here. All right. When they attack, I'll explain more here. So to hit this archer, I need to roll 2 successes. First attack, 3 dice. It needs to roll 2 because the weapon defense is 2 on the skeleton archer. Okay, this is okay. That doesn't mean anything because it's not the monster rolling. So the sword does 1 damage. All right. I'm gonna just mark this. Now, second attack, he can only roll 2 dice, but he has rolled 2, so that is a success. And the third attack, he's down now to just 1 dice, but it's still possible, and he's done it. Great. So he has half killed an archer, and that is the fighter. So this is the initiative card. I'm going to just flip that over to say he's done. And the next people to act is B enemies. All right, so this archer is going to attack. Now, when you look at the enemy monsters, How do they work? Well, you go down the row. Can I go even closer here? Yeah. So they get 3 actions as well. Now, this is the last action only. So they get 3 actions. So their first action can't be that one. So we'll just skip straight down. Attack a character in range 1. So that's its option. That's what it will try to do. If it couldn't attack, it would then move. Okay, fine. So now the archer, even though it's in the same space, can still shoot with an arrow. It's just considered that this is, it's outside. He's probably 5 or so meters away. He can shoot. So the archer shoots with 3 dice, then 2 dice, and 1 dice. So he's going to get 3 attacks as well. Ooh. Remember that the fighter has this ability, a shield block. So reduce the damage you'll take from attack by 1 once per round. So, and the fighter's defense is 3. So the archers have to actually hit 3 successes to damage him, this guy, and the damage would be, I should say, damage 1. Okay. Okay, so he takes the damage, but he's going to use his shield block to avoid that damage. So next attack from the skeleton is down to 2 dice. And here this time he hasn't got the shield block up his sleeve, so the fighter has taken a damage. He's got 8 hit points, so he's probably going to be fine. And the next one misses because it's only 1. Okay, so that's... Oh, and enemy B, we've actually got an enemy B over here as well. And that is the skeleton guard. Now, the skeleton guard works very similarly. Attacks with 3, 2, 1, and it will do 1 damage. Attack a character in this space. Nope. Move toward the nearest character. So he uses an action to move. Now, the nearest character, 1. So we'll just bring it out. You can see here, it's 1, 2 to there, 1, 2 to there, and it's 2 to all of the other characters. So you can actually choose who it goes to. So why don't I pick on the warrior or the fighter, and he will come across and try to hit the warrior. So the skeleton guard will go 3, 2, 1, just like the archers. So these are very simple characters to start with. Okay. Not a success, but there's a skull. Fortunately, the skeleton guards don't have a skull result here. But I'm guessing a lot of enemies will. But because these are very simple enemies, nothing. So that skull, fortunately to us, doesn't mean anything at the point. Sorry about that noise. My dog's just trying to get some attention, wondering who I'm talking to, I think. So second attack from that. Okay, that is a hit. So it takes 1 damage. So the fighter's certainly getting a bit hit here, and the third attack misses. Great. Not too bad. Okay, so I'm going to now attack with the Ranger Hask. Now, looking at his cards, he's got some interesting abilities. This one here means that his second shot can roll an extra dice, so he would be rolling 2 dice and then 2 dice. Takes an action to do it, but Hunted Shot lets him roll 2 weapon attacks up to 2 enemies. So the way I'm reading this is he will do 2 dice, 2 dice. Now that's once per round, but that's okay, he's only shooting once. He also has this aim ability, where he can use an action, and on each of your attacks this turn, you can spend 1 star to add 2 successes. So the ranger is going to roll, he's going to aim and then roll 2 attacks with 2 dice. Let's see how he goes. Now he's going to shoot, he's going to try to shoot the weakened one. 4, that's success. And his weapon does, where's your weapon? A bow. 1 damage. Okay. And 5 successes, which means he's easily got through the weapon defense of the skeleton archer. So 2 more damage to that archer. Hopefully we can knock him off. Next turn is the wizard. Now, the wizard was sort of specialising in AoE, wasn't he? Right. I haven't got a name for my wizard yet. That's useless. Now, force barrage. Once per damage. So I could do 3 damage split, and I don't even have to roll for it. Up to range 3. That, a single damage would actually knock him off. So that is definitely a good option. And the other good one was Thunderstrike. Roll a range attack against the enemy in range 3. Electricity damage. 1 electricity damage. You can spend any number of stars to deal 1 electricity damage to each enemy in the target space. This is definitely better. Being able to just deal 1 damage 3 times, split up to 3. Done. There's no question about this. My wizard is here, and he'll do a damage to this one, which will knock him off, and might as well damage to each of them. All right. Well, that was well done, but that was 3 actions to do it, but I think it was worth it because it guaranteed a kill and just guaranteed a little bit of extra damage. That is, oh, no, we still got the Oracle. So I'll flip the Oracle's card over so that the Oracle is going to go. Now, what's the Oracle's special little ability? Foresight. Add 1 star to the result of your next roll. Okay, so I could basically use an action to guarantee a star. And when you roll a spell attack, you can spend a star to remove 1 success from the target's next attack. Right, so it adds a little bit of, it senses danger, doesn't he? Or, what is the Oracles? What's the weapon? A staff. We don't want that. We want to start range, don't we? What's Void Warp? Roll a spell attack against an enemy in range 1 and deal damage as shown for your level. So 1 damage. If you hit, you can spend any number of stars to deal 1 extra attack. I might do that. Okay, so spell's going to be 3, 2, 1. The Void Warp is unlimited, so it's going to be based probably the main spell. Excuse me. This uses stars, so I could. Yeah, see, this is where you've got to balance up, weigh things up, because I could guarantee a star. No, look, I think I'll just roll. So it's got to be range 1. So that's all right. They're within range 1. So I'm going to do 3 dice for the first attack, 2 dice for the second, and 1 dice for the third. And these are all 2s. That is a 2s. Oh, hang on. If you hit, you can spend any number of stars to deal with extra damage for each. Okay. So that is not 1 damage, but instead 2 damage. And I did target that. So I should have said I targeted the archer. So 2 dice. And that's another success. So that's just the 1 damage. But if I roll 1 die, no, I can't kill him this turn. But only 1 success, so missed. Okay, and then finally, enemy A's now activate. Now they are the red ones. So there's only 1 A left. It's over here. So that is a skeleton guard. They will attack in the square if they can. They can't, so it'll move toward the nearest character. And then it will move toward the nearest character. So basically they do that, and then once they've done an action, they go back to the top and they repeat that process. And their next action, they'll go to the top and repeat that action. So the first action was move. They go back to the top. Next action will be move again to the nearest character. Now I am choosing to go into that space. So we've got 3 over here now. If they're equal, as I read it, you can choose where they sort of head to. If I've got that wrong, let me know, because I think the others would probably be able to handle a hill or 2, but we're creating a real tank here if possible. So there he is, and this is very simple: 3, 2, 1 dice on his attacks. But the fighter does have that defense value of 3, which makes him really, really hard to hit. Let's go. Well, he got hit. So he takes another damage. 2 dice now. Next attack. Nothing. And finally, he got hit again. All right. So, yeah, I shouldn't speak too soon, should I? Okay, so he's actually down to half health now, so he may be looking for a bit of a heal. Now, that is the end of the round. Everyone has taken actions. I need to move the... Now, that should have been time 3 for the combat, I believe. So this will now be number 4. Okay. So I did 2 rounds exploring because I decided to help the wounded one in the end. And then I've done 1 round of combat. So initiative is just shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. And it's just random, random, random. Which just makes things streamlined and simple. And I believe the rogue can adjust they can move in the initiative order once they see it, but we're not playing with the rogue. All right, so the first is going to be the fighter, then the ranger, then enemies A, enemies B, wizard, oracle, fighter. Well, fighter, you're I think last time the best thing to do was just a 3, 2, 1 attack, so let's just do it. Brutal hit. When you... once per... So I'll just read this closely now. I'll just zoom in for you. Can I get it right in? Brutal hit. When you roll a weapon attack, you can spend a star to deal 1 damage to an enemy in your space. Right. That could come in very handy. All right. So, 3 dice for the first attack. Definitely a success. So that's 1 damage. And I'm going to just place that 5 there. Now, the next attack, I'm going to attack this dude. I do need to know if I'm allowed to change characters and attack this one, because if I attack this one and roll a star, I can do a damage to him and kill him later. So I am going to attack this enemy here, and hopefully, this is only 2 dice, but hopefully roll... Well, let's just see what happens. This might work. No, that didn't work. So now I'm down to 1 dice. So I'll use my 1 dice on this guy. Hopefully roll 2 successes. Nope. So didn't do much there, fighter. So next one is the ranger. Now, if we remember, we use the same thing as what we did last time. We will aim, and then you just get 2 shots, and it will be with 2 dice. And it will be, the bow was 1 damage. So let's just see. 2 shots, 1 damage. So that will take out this archer over here. And then I will aim for the one that's already a little bit injured. And that one misses. Now, enemy A, so red is A's. So he is now going to attack the fighter. And he now, because he doesn't move now, he gets 3 shots at me. Did I use 3 attacks last turn when he moved twice? Maybe. I will check that when I edit. So he's going to do 3 attacks with 3 dice. He gets to defend once. So he will avoid that 1 damage this time, because he gets that ability once per round. There goes my dog in the background, by the way. Oh, okay. Bang, he gets the damage. Goodness me. So he actually has taken 5 damage. Goodness. And this skeleton guard rolls, and it's a star, so that's okay. Yeah, some characters have a react, like when the enemy rolls a star, they get a bonus, but not in this case. All right, you little nasty creature. Now the other enemy attacks. So this enemy B is going to attack, so it's going to get 3 dice, then 2 dice, and 1 dice. I could die here. Yep, there's another damage. Okay, this is not looking good. It's another damage. This is the tutorial. You're not meant to die. 1 dice. 1. Okay, he didn't die. He's alive. Whew. Okay. He's on 1 life. The fighter, just to verify, has got 8 hit points. Okay. Okay. The wizard is next. So the wizard, on his first attack, 3 dice, hitting the injured one. They're ignored because it's the monster's turn. It does actually hit. So the spell Thunderstrike does 1 damage. So damage. Unfortunately, no stars. So 2 dice on the next attack. That's another hit. Good. And 1 dice on the last attack, which is nothing. Okay, and now I've got the Oracle. And now I'm going to look at healing. What has the Oracle got in the way of healing? I'm sure he can heal. Lifelink. This is what I want to use. So let's use 1 action to move him into that space. Use... I can't do that. Yes, I can. I can remove 2 damage from him. And now, if I wanted to, I could take half the damage shown for your level. So I could take 1 damage to remove the same amount of damage from the chosen. So I could take, the Oracle could take a damage and heal. So let's do that. So the Oracle's got 1 damage. Oops, not 5. 1. And the fighter is back to 4 damage. So this Oracle has taken the fighter from 7 damage, 1 away from death. And I haven't looked at death rules yet. That might be a future video. And he's on 4. So that is their entire turn though. So it looks like we are doing another round. I still don't know if there's a time limit on this starting tutorial. We will find out. Okay, so this time, first, enemy B, yay. Then the wizard. Then the fighter. Enemy A, Ranger, and that leaves the Oracle. So enemy B, which is green. So that is the there. So he's going to be doing 3, 2, 1 against my fighter. Now, once again, I believe that they can attack whoever you want to attack. I guess that means that the fighter is standing in between the enemy and this delicate oracle over here. So we're going to use that. I believe in more advanced monsters, there might be a situation where it will say attack the character with the lowest health and things like that. All right, so skeleton against the fighter. It's a hit. Second attack for skeleton. It's a hit. Okay. Okay, can you bring him back to 7? Oh. It's a 1. Sorry, I know they went off the screen, but it was a 1. So he's taken another 2 damage. Okay, wizard. Roll spell attack. So it'll be 3 dice for the first spell. And stars can become... Right, so that's a success. And a star will do a damage to each enemy in the space. So he takes 1, but then they both take 1. I presume it doesn't say other enemies, it says enemies. So I presume that they will then both take 1 each. Now the wizard actually has an extra attack. Thunder Strike is 2 actions, but surely there's something here that takes 1 action. Maybe there's not. Okay. So wizard will move over to here because he might be able to do this combat thing. Okay. Next turn is a fighter. And the fighter, surely the fighter's got something. Oh, did I use my shield block? I didn't use my shield block, so he's got shield block up his sleeve. He can't charge. He's got the reactive strike. This is something that he could have actually used when an archer shot him. I'm dealing with 4 characters for my first time, so I'm probably forgetting a couple of things and doing a few things wrong, so I do apologise for that. So he still is really going to be basically just trying to hit these things for 1 damage each. Okay, 3 damage on the injured. Oh, actually, hang on a minute. Yeah, I think it's just good to get rid of him. And that definitely does the damage, so he will die. Off you go, skeleton. Don't regenerate on me. And then he's got 2 more attacks, one with 2 dice. That's a hit, another hit. And 1 dice left, which is nothing. Okay, so that's the fighter done. The next is enemy A's, and this is an enemy A. Enemy A, he's still going to hit the fighter. Can't possibly. And I do have that shield block up my sleeve. Now that's a miss because the fighter actually has 3 defense. That the skeletons are best to be rolling so well. Second attack. That does do a damage, but he'll use his shield block. He'll remember this time. And 1 more attack. And that's not a hit. So the fighter's living on 6 health there. Ranger. Now, the combat challenges, I'm wondering whether they have to be done in combat or whether they can be done afterwards. Let's just see if the ranger can kill him off, and then the wizard might try this one. So the ranger will aim and do the 2 shots with 2 dice as previously. That's a hit. So takes the damage, and then that is another hit. Oh, he's got the Last time he healed, but he's got this spell. Roll a spell attack, range 1. And if you hit, you can spend... Yeah, so he'll use... There's 2 dice attack. He'll do 1 damage. And then 2nd damage if he rolls a star. It's only if you hit. So I didn't hit. Okay. He's going to just try to hit with his staff. Which he actually hits. Maybe I should have done that first time. So bang. Oracle does the damage. I thought I'd get these skeletons down quick smart, but I'm doing something wrong. Alright, who's first? The fighter, the wizard, ranger, enemies, oracle, enemies. Okay, fighter. Now I believe you can move out of spaces without attacks of opportunity and things like that. But it would be a silly thing to move out now when the fighter's standing right there. This enemy's only got 1 health left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's enough to kill it. So we have successfully killed this enemy. And I think he's on 6. I think the Oracle was on 1. We didn't do these combat challenges, so they are like normal challenges, which you can basically, if you're in that space, you can attempt it just like a normal exploration challenge that we did before. You can read the book. This is something to do with the roof, and this is something to do with if you've recorded healed that when we healed that villager. You read a different passage, so probably we might have got benefited from something there, but who knows? So I'm not going to read ahead. So we have done it. So we now have ended combat. So let's see what the book says. As the last skeleton falls, a loud, dull moan announces the arrival of a new foe. A hulking humanoid mound of rotting flesh that smells even more disgusting than it looks. Add a dread zombie. Okay, enemy card 11. Pawn 11A. Okay, so pawn, I mean, that's referring to its standee. Into the center space of the tile and advance the turn tracker by 1. Oh, I think combat is 1 round, not once per round. So this would have been the 3rd round, and then this extra round is a 4. So I'm on 4. I'll just put that back to 4. Okay. So here's our dread zombie. We've got a fighter here, oracle here, wizard here, and our hunter here, ranger here. So we may still be able to tackle these combat challenges, maybe. But I'm guessing, now he is, so we'll take these 2 enemy cards here. He's red, so we'll just call him A, and we'll get rid of the other enemy cards. So we're going to be shuffling our characters in with the enemy. And we have ranger, wizard, oracle, fighter, enemy A. So that is a great result for us. Now, this enemy has 9 hit points. Very easy to hit. Only needs 1 success to hit him. But he has 3 dice on his first attack, then 2, then 1. But it does deal 2 damage. So let's see if we can kill him before he attacks us. So fighter. Now the fighter can do that charge thing. So let's do that. Sudden charge. So he's going to use 2 actions, move up to 3 spaces. So he comes into here with his 6 health. Ooh, that's okay. I think I have to get the oracle to heal him. If you move at least one space and stop in a space with a monster, you can roll a weapon attack and add one success to the roll. Okay, so it's the first attack in the turn. You can add a success. Yeah, it's only adding a success, but he doesn't really need that success, does he? But anyway, let's see. He's got to move anyway, so first attack, that's a hit, so he'll do 1 damage, and his second attack will be 2 dice, which is only rolled 1 success, but that's okay because this enemy is quite weak. So he does do 2 damage to the monster, to the enemy. 1, 2, great. So the ranger is up, and the ranger will just do his usual thing. Oh, the ranger could do this combat challenge. I'll leave that to the wizard. Oh no, what did it need? What was the thing it needed? Was it needed acrobatics, athletics, or stealth? Surely the ranger has, it's got acrobatics. Yes. So the ranger is going to attempt the combat challenge as an action. Okay. And it's in need of a friend, and this is the cloak ranger that's been beaten up by a skeleton that's not on the board, but must be there somewhere. So 3 dice, needs 2 successes on this. Oh, this is where aid would really come in handy. He'll just take a chance. 4 successes, fantastic. So 2 or more. If you have helped Nishal Yadri, which we have, read entry 16. Your tactic pays off beautifully, freeing Nishal from the grasp of the skeleton. Oh, we healed him, and then he got in a tangle with a skeleton. The ranger nods at you gratefully as they toss the undead against the nearby column, shattering it to pieces. You're on top of this things tonight, aren't you? Thank you for your help. Freed from danger, the ranger knocks their last arrow and shoots it at another nearby enemy. Deal 1 damage to an enemy in range 1. Well, how convenient. We will put that onto the Dread zombie and then remove the challenge token. Okay, so the challenge tokens in combat seem to be just little extra bits, things that can happen. Okay, so that was an action, but I do believe they get 2 more. They get their 3 actions in a turn. Oh, the ranger actually had add 1 success to all combat challenges you attempt. Always active. Interesting. So definitely want the ranger to be doing all those challenges. Okay, I think I'm just at the point where I just roll 2 attacks. So first attack will be with the ranger, will be with 2 dice, which does do a damage because this big thing is quite easy to hit, and then 1 dice, which does another damage. So well done, ranger. He's on 5, he takes 9. Wizard. So we need to do 4 more damage to him. Wizard. You will use your... what's your best thing for a wizard just against a single target? Might be... once per... Oh, Thunder Strikes once per combat. Oops. I might have cheated there and used it twice. My apologies. The projectile is unlimited. So roll a spell attack against an enemy at range 1. And then if you hit, spend another number. Okay, let's do this. So spell attack, he's just going to do spell attack. This is unlimited spell. This takes 2 actions to do. He does hit, but he's got a focus, so he does 2 damage because he got the focus. So that's really good. We're just going to swap this around. All right. So he's on 7. Now, if I can do that again, but I can't use this because that takes 2 actions, so that's out. So I'm now, I'm not in his space, so I can't hit him. So the wizard is, well, I think he'll just stay there. All right, and then the fighter who's on very little health. Sorry, Oracle. Oracle's next. Oracle. If the Oracle just heals that fighter. All right. Now, Oracle, where's your cards? Lifelink. Lifelink is actually once per combat. So if you look at that, once per combat. Okay. Ooh. Okay, the Void Warp, that's unlimited. Roll a spell attack against an enemy in range 1. Yep. Deal damage as shown. If you hit, you can spend stars for an extra. Okay, we might be okay here. Oracle is spells is 3 dice. Let's do it. That is a hit. He's got 1 life left, but he didn't roll a star, so he has to do the second attack. He only needs 1 success. And does that easily. So bang, the dread zombie is gone. We have come to the end of this combat. And concluding the adventure, once the group agrees that they have spent enough time on the encounter, which we have, read the adventure conclusion on page 13. After the assault on the undead horde, the citizens of Falcon's Hollow are anxious about what to do next. Before you can formulate a plan, a tall human man in expensive clothes pushes his way through the crowd. If you spend 6 or less time in the adventure, read entry 1. Okay. If you spent 7 or more time, read entry 19. So we're only at 4. Rereading entry 1. Right at the start. Okay. Here it is. Thaldron Creed, head of the local lumber consortium that rules Falcon's Hollow, approaches your group with a concerned look in his face. Thank you very much for your help, adventurers. It seems we are at a crossroads of some import. The sheriff has informed me that we must fortify the town's ferry dock to ensure that we have a way of escape if this problem gets worse. And if we are to put a stop to this threat for good, we'll need the help of Stovara Sparkbrow, the cleric of Torag that lives deeper in the woods. Can we count on you for aid and, at least in undertaking one of these critical tasks, record time to spare? Okay, time to spare. So there's 2 tasks there to do. Yes, I am left-handed. Now we'll go back to this. So while the immediate danger of Falcon's Hollow appears to be over, the town citizens fear that even greater undead horde might soon fall upon them, threatening the lives and safety of everyone who lives in the otherwise peaceful vale. 2 paths lie before you. You can remain in town and work to fortify the ferry dock, ensuring that the town can escape from river foam if more undead arrive. Or you can venture out into undead infested woods to try to find Stavora Sparkbrow, a cleric of Torag who knows a great deal about undead. You cannot do both, but fortunately, you have help. Nishao Vadril, who we have helped, the internment ranger offers to take up whatever task your party doesn't choose. So, okay. So what we're going to do now, if I just explain this quickly, I've just dropped I've just dropped one of the miniatures and the base has just fallen off. All right, I've just dropped the base and he fell off. Who was that? The wizard? That's all right. Nothing glue can't fix. So I'm puffing because, of course, the base went right to the back of the table. I had to crawl under the big desk. So you can see here, introduction, that's a tutorial we've been doing. And then there's like 1A, 1B. We have to choose to do one of these 2 adventures. And then we'll do 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to choose between 5A and 5B, choose between 6A and 6B, and then we will do 7 and 8. So next time, we will be back to do, I don't know, if you want to, are we going to fortify the town, or we're going to find this this cleric in the undead infested woods? It sounds so much more fun, but who knows? What should we do? Let me know. Thank you for watching. This is my first adventure, and I really enjoyed learning the game. My thoughts are, with 4 people all doing a character, it'll be pretty simple to manage your own character, no problems at all. And it'll be much quicker, and I think it's just light-hearted fun. But the story is really interesting so far, and yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, guys. Bye.